Hello everyone, welcome back to PW IELTS Prep. So after the agree disagreement, to what extent do you agree or disagree with and what are the advantages and disadvantages? I am back with a question called two direct question essay. Now, what is this two direct question essay? Let us understand this first. Well, like as I've told you that in IELTS, you will have 5 different categories. You will have the essay where you will be asked to write down your opinion. You will be asked to write down, the question called where you have to talk about the positive and a negative side. Also, you will have a question where you are going to discuss both these views and give your opinion. So, out of these, like one of the question type is called two direct question essays where you will be given a question and along with that question you will have two direct questions, right? You will have two direct questions which you have to answer in your essay. Now under this category again we have two different type of essay. One is problem and solution, like they'll be talking about the problem and you will be asked to come up with the solution, or they will ask you to first tell about first talk about the causes, like why it is happening and then how it can be tackled, right? The other question type where you will be given a simple statement and based on that statement you will be directly asked two questions. For example, you know uh, people, happiness is really important to survive. What is happiness and how it is why it is very difficult to define the happiness. So they will give you a kind of question. Along with the question you will have two direct questions that you need to answer. Now you need to understand that here they may be or may not be linked to each other, right? So I am going to take you through both these essay type. The first, the problem solution, and then after of course the statement where you will have the two direct question. So I'll take you through. And the very first essay that we are going to talk about is problem solution type, right? Where what happened, you will be given a problem, like you will be introduced to a problem in your introduction, or I would say in your prompt, and after that they will ask you two direct questions. Either they can ask you, okay, talk about the problem and the solution, right? For example, they are talking about a question and the obesity is one of the very big problem nowadays, right? So what is obesity and how we can take care of that and how we can tackle this. Talking about the other question, I mean the other ending of that, like they can ask you the causes. Instead of explaining the problem, they may ask you that why it is happening, why people, people are suffering from this particular disease, right? What are the causes, like what are the reasons. So they're going to ask you the reasons, and also here at the end they are going to ask you the solution. Okay, this is the problem and these are the causes. Okay, this is happening because of that, लेकिन अब इसके solution क्या है उस पे आपको बात करनी है. और they may ask you only to write down the solution only. They are not going to ask you कि चलो आप मुझे पहले causes बताओ या problem को describe करो. It's just that you have introduced the problem in your introduction, then you have talked about the problem, and then you are just giving solution, right? So ending could be anything. You need to understand the prompt very well, right? It is very important, guys. If you have gone through my previous lectures also, I have told you that understanding the prompt, अपने question को समझना, essay के topic को समझना is a very important part. Let's suppose if you didn't understand your question well, आपको पता ही नहीं कि examiner exactly क्या पूछ रहा है, and you have written, somewhere 250 to 300 words, and at the end of the day you came to know, well, something which they have asked, I didn't answer that. So आपका task achievement बिल्कुल zero हो जाएगा, right? So task achievement is one of the criteria. Hope you remember that I have explained that in a very first video, right? There are 4 categories, or there are 4 things that examiners are looking very carefully on. Like the first is your task response, that how well you are writing, how appropriate, how accurate you are writing, right? Are you writing the same answer which is which they have asked you, right? How completely you are answering the question, the very first thing that examiner is looking for. Second thing, whatever the ideas you are writing, let's suppose here you are talking about the causes, okay, this problem has these many causes, and then you are going to write down the solution. So how you are connecting your problem and solution, the cause and solution. So make sure that your language is connected. You are switching first paragraph to second to the third very smoothly, right? So it's all about cohesion and coherence. In short, the well structured essay. Third is your lexical resources, completely the part of your vocabulary. So you need to understand when you are writing. Of course, we do not want you to write like a professor or a teacher with a very fancy and very good vocabulary, but yes, you need to keep in mind कि आप अपने words को repeat ना करें. Let's suppose if you are talking about anything, any word you are talking about, like let's take an example of important only. So you should have good synonyms with that, right? Try not to repeat. And another thing is, Use right word at a right place. This is what the examiners are asking for. The last but not the least is your grammar range and accuracy. So make sure your tenses, the verbs that you are using, absolutely fine. I mean, you are not leaving any stone unturned to, to get less score. So make sure that you are working on your task response, cohesion and coherence, your vocabulary, and of course the grammar, right? These are the 4 skills you should have when you are writing for IELTS. So understanding the prompt is, the part of planning only, right? As which I have explained this before also in your lectures, that how we are going to start with the essay. So the very first thing that you need to understand is, the question, what they are asking you, so that आप exactly वही answer कर सके. So the question is, one problem faced by almost every large city is traffic congestion. So first we need to understand what they are talking about. Well, in this question, they are talking about a problem. Now, what is the problem? Problem is traffic congestion. Now, where it is happening? Only in large cities. So they are not saying कि सब जगह है, कि one of the very common problem. They are saying one of the problem faced by almost all the large cities, what? Traffic congestion. So we have understood, well, the topic is about traffic congestion. Now further, the very first question they have asked, why do you think are the causes, right? So the very first thing they are asking you to talk about the causes, to develop why it is happening, like why do we have this traffic congestion ka problem, right? We need to develop that. Then after, they are asking you, what solution can you suggest? So after talking about the traffic congestion, after talking about the causes, that okay, why it is happening, what are the reason behind it, we also need to talk about that how we can solve this problem. So this question is directly asking you to talk about the cause and solution. Now when I say to read your prompt so well, so make sure sometime what happened, not only they are asking you to talk about the solution, they may ask you to talk about the effects also. Let's suppose if the same question can be like this, what are the causes and how it is affecting, right? How it is affecting. So here, instead of talking about your solution, you are supposed to talk about the effects, like how it is affecting the society or maybe affecting the particular area. So you need to understand. So here the ending line could be anything. So be ready with the synonyms. So not always they are going to give you the same words. They may use synonyms. So please do not get confused. So it could be, what issues does this cause and how can they be addressed? It can be, what are the some resulting social problem and how we can deal with them. They can talk about the problem arises, right? And how can they be tackled, right? They may ask you anything. For example, what are the reason for this and how can this situation be improved? So you need to understand the language that they are using. You know that writing is all productive, right? Productive language. So here, you not only you need to be good in your writing, but also you need to be good when you are reading something and understand, well, all these things, going to talk about the cause and solution only, but in different language they are talking about. Now understand the prompt. Again, the double question, again I said, see, अभी तक जो हम बात कर रहे थे वो था एक problem solution वाला ऐसे, जहाँ पर आपको एक problem introduce कराया, and then they are asking you to talk about the causes, and depend, they may ask you the solution, they may ask you the effects. But apart from this, we have one more question type. Again, it is not problem solution, but again it comes under two direct question, where what happened, these essays are also known as direct question or the two question essays, right? For example, what happened here, they have one statement with two different questions. So they will give you one statement, okay, and after that they will give you two direct question. Now these question, the question that you are going to get, they may or may not link to each other. Okay, so here you need to keep in mind, simply it's a question, you are going to answer that. You need not to come up with your signpost language. Okay, firstly, secondly, you are not going to prove anything. It's just that they have simply asked you a question. So based on your experience, based on your observation, you are supposed to answer that question. So take an example here. Fossil fuels are essential for producing electricity. Okay, we are going to talk about the fossil fuels. Now they are saying it is important for producing electricity, powering industry and transportation, right? Now, however, one day will come when all these world's fossil fuel have been depleted. So first we need to understand the statement. What they are saying is, fossil fuel, like this oil, the coal, the oil or the coal or the kind of essential things, they are very, very important for most of the things like producing electricity, powering industry and fueling transportation. लेकिन एक दिन आएगा जब ये सब कुछ खत्म हो जाएगा, right? तो further after this statement they are asking you two questions. How can we conserve these resources? So the very first question is asking you कि हम इसको बचा कैसे सकते हैं, like how we can conserve. Now what are some alternatives? Again they are asking you some alternatives. अगर ठीक है हम अगर fossil fuel use नहीं कर रहे हैं, so apart from that what else we can use to at least save them, right? Of course we have to use anyhow, but alternatives भी कुछ हम use कर सकते हैं. So here can you see that they have given you the statement where they are talking about what are fossil fuels and then they are directly asking you two question कि इसको conserve कैसे करना है and उसके alternatives क्या हैं. So you need to understand, see these two direct questions. The first one was about problem. They have introduced a problem and then they asked you to talk about the cause and solution. Second, they have given you only the statement where they are introducing you the topic and based on that topic they are asking you two different things. इसको बचाना है कैसे और इसके alternative कैसे, right? So these are the two different essay which we are going to cover in this. So let's talk about in detail the problem solution essay, and we are going to talk about the common mistakes, right? The common mistakes that usually students do. The first, there are by the way 6 major mistakes, okay? The first, confuse between the problem and the causes. So let's suppose you are talking about, let's take an example of traffic congestion only, right? You know the problem, but when you're writing the causes, okay, what are the causes of this traffic congestion, you are not being very specific. You're talking about anything which is relevant or not relevant. Keep in mind कि आपको एक टॉपिक दिया है कि भाई प्रॉब्लम क्या है, ट्रैफिक कंजेशन है, तो आप जितने भी कॉजेज जनरेट करेंगे, जितने भी रीजंस आप लिखेंगे, make sure that you are writing based on that only, the traffic congestion. Do not write down anything which is not related. So make sure that you are clear with the problem and then you are developing the causes. Then having too many ideas. Now when I say having too many ideas, so sometimes it is possible that you may get the essay where you will have lot many ideas. Let's suppose traffic congestion is only the essay type. There are so many reasons. For example, everybody is going to the office between 8 to 10. Moreover, I can say the roads are not good. People are using their own, transportation. They are using their own car. They are not using public transportation. I would say that, the increasing number of cars on the road. So there are so many reasons, right? These are very common one. So having too many ideas, it's okay. You can generate ideas. लेकिन सबसे बड़ा problem है कि आप ये सारे ideas अपने essay में लिख रहे हो. So make sure when you are generating, you are absolutely free to develop the ideas. Okay, this is one problem, this is second problem, this is third problem, this is fourth problem. But out of these 4 problems, out of these 4 causes, make sure you are taking 1 or 2 which you can explain well, right? So do not use so many ideas. Talking about the next one, not developing the ideas. So let's suppose अभी हमने discuss किया कि ठीक है, one of the problem faced by large city, this traffic congestion, and the reason behind is that there are too many cars on road. So writing too many cars on the road will not only help you. So make sure that you are developing that. Now you know that how to develop that by adding the explanation, by adding the example, right? So make sure whatever the reasons you are writing in your essay, you are developing the ideas as well. Now not developing both the side of the argument. So clearly the question is asking you the causes and solution, and in the other question also they are asking you the alternatives and also the conservation, that how we can do that. So make sure that you are equally answering both the question. You cannot do only कि आपने सिर्फ causes पे focus किया, solution में आपने सिर्फ एक line लिखा and you are done with that. No, you have to keep in mind that जितना आप कॉजेज लिख रहे हो उन्हीं कॉजेज का आपको सोल्यूशन भी लिखना है. सो यू हैव टू इक्वली डेवलप द कॉज एंड इफेक्ट, और मे बी द कॉज एंड सोल्यूशन, or maybe the 2 direct questions that they're going to ask you in a different type of essay. Now, not linking the problem and solution. One of the very, very common problem, I have seen that students are facing this. Let's suppose when they are generating the ideas, okay, why it is happening, right? They have so many ideas. Okay, this is happening because of this, because of that. But when they are writing the solution, जब वो solution पे आते हैं तो they write down a very general solution. So you need to understand कि जो जो problem आपने कंसीडर किया है या जो जो कॉजेज आपने अपने एसे में लिखा है, मेक श्योर यू आर राइटिंग द सोल्यूशन ऑफ दैट cause only. For example, you are saying there are so many cars on the road. So solution इसका क्या हो सकता है? Right? You cannot write down anything कि भाई traffic police को ध्यान रखना चाहिए या public, we should follow the traffic rules. No. If the problem is that there are too many cars on the road, so उसका solution क्या होगा कि या तो भाई आप कार शेयरिंग करो या स्टार्ट यूजिंग द पब्लिक ट्रांसपोर्टेशन. सो मेक श्योर कि आपका कॉज और आपका सोल्यूशन एक दूसरे से रिलेटेड हो. राइट? डू नॉट राइट डाउन एनीथिंग कि आपने कॉज कुछ लिखा है और आप सोल्यूशन कुछ लिख रहे हो. सो दिस इज समथिंग दैट यू नीड टू कीप इन माइंड. Not being specific enough, again relevancy is the key here. So instead of writing anything which is not important, better you write down something that can prove your point and be specific. Like, as you know that 250 is the word limit, so examiner is happy like if you are writing even 251, but make sure it should not be less than 250, right? So being specific is one of the key here, which will help you to write down the essay, very organizingly, and of course in the word limit. This is what you need to keep in mind. Now, the essay structure we are going to understand. So, the question we are going to take this only, where, the traffic congestion is one of the problems. So, two questions, what are the reasons, right? What causes, and solution. So, this is what. So, here the very first paragraph is your introduction, where you are going to introduce your essay topic. So, what you need to do, the very first thing is your paraphrase the question. You are already aware, right? You need to rewrite the statement. Why? Why can't you copy? Because IELTS writing is all productive language, where examiner wanted to see that how well do you understand the topic and you are able to write down the topic in your own words. So please आप इसे copy नहीं करेंगे, जो भी आपको prompt मिलेगा आप उसे अपने words में लिखेंगे. You just need to use some synonyms, okay? So first thing that you'll be paraphrasing. Now the question is asking you the cause and solution. So make sure in the introduction only you will be writing the cause and you'll be writing the solution only, right? Then only you'll be able to relate your paragraph 1, the introduction paragraph to your first body paragraph. So introduction will ask you to introduce the topic and also talk about the cause and also the solution then and there only. Now the explanation will be doing in the paragraph 1, the body paragraph 1. So the body paragraph 1 will talk about the problem or the cause which you have already mentioned in the introduction, you will be explaining that in your body paragraph 1, right? So the body paragraph 1 will only talk about the causes. Let's suppose if you have two causes, so you are going to describe or explain the two causes in the body paragraph 1, whereas the body paragraph 2 will only talk about the solution. So you need to keep in mind here, you cannot do that, okay? You have started with the cause and then and there only you are giving the solution, and then you are coming up with the second body paragraph. वहाँ पे आपने second reason लिखा और वहीं पर आप दूसरा उसका solution लिख रहे हो. No, you need to segregate. What you can do is आपका first body paragraph सिर्फ focus करेगा causes पे कि क्या problem है, क्यों ऐसा हो रहा है, right? So let's suppose यहाँ पर आपने दो reason लिखे, okay? So here you will be writing in दोनों ही reason का solution. So these are here you'll be writing two solution for the same problem. And then last but not the least, very important, is your conclusion, where you are going to summarize both these key points which you have well explained in your body paragraph. And this is how you'll be, relating everything. See, here you have introduced the topic with cause, with solution. The same cause you have described in the body paragraph 1, solution in the body paragraph 2. So see how smoothly you can connect your introduction to B1 and BP2, right? So this is what you need to keep in mind. Now let's see. Planning is important. You already know that. So analyze the question. So what is the question? One problem faced by almost every large city is traffic congestion. It's a problem, right? And they are asking you the causes and the solution. So now I am absolutely clear with my question, so that, it will also help me to develop my ideas. So here, what we are going to do is the keywords. This is a problem, okay, where only in the large city. So make sure you are not adding any example, which is not that large city, or maybe something related to the rural area or so. Only talk about the urban, area or the large cities, okay. Now develop the causes and you have to develop the solution. So this is how you need to analyze. This is the problem, here it is a problem, and this is the major topic. We are going to develop the causes and we are going to develop the solution. So if you will understand your prompt this way, I'm sure you'll not go off track anywhere, right? So make sure you do that. Now, generating ideas. Once you are done with your question, you have understood कि क्या पूछा गया है. Second thing that you need to do is to generate your ideas. Now, you will be thinking, ma'am, generate तो कर लेंगे, लेकिन लिखेंगे कहाँ? See, you are absolutely free to use your, if you are giving pen and paper exam, तो आपको जो question का sheet मिलता है, you are absolutely free to write there. Or if is it a computer based also, no, so there also you will be given A4 size ka sheet, which you can use to make your notes. So here not only you have to think in your mind, you have to develop, you have to write down, literally you have to write down the bullet points. So if I talk about the problems, related to the traffic congestion in the large city, so what? Too many cars on road. This is my first cause. Now increasing number of people on cars and they feel more convenient than the buses and trains. Okay, fine. Now why don't they use buses and trains? They are finding that these public transportation are crowded and old, and even they are dirty. Now not only this, one more reason I have, that poor road layout. The roads are also not very good. कहीं रोड टूटी हुई है, कहीं पर कंस्ट्रक्शन हो रहा है, like that. And yes, the rush hours. Rush hour is what, everybody has to go office between 8 to 10 only. If I talk about the rush hours, for example, the school timing, everybody, all the kids go to the school between morning 6 to 8 between. So these are the rush hour. This is also one of the reason of a traffic congestion. And here we are talking about each day, people are traveling to their work same day. So these are the causes. Now, you remember I told you that when you are generating your ideas, it's okay to write down as many as you can, because this will help us to sort out, okay, out of these, I'm going to talk about this only. I think I can write better here. So out of these many causes, take any one or two and write your essay, okay? Now talking about the solution, again very important point guys, you need to understand here, and as I've told you, this is one of the very common problem कि student causes तो लिख देते हैं, लेकिन जब solution पे आते हैं, so they write down a very general solution. No, you need to relate it. So let's suppose you can say too many cars on the road. Let me just erase and explain you. Just a second. So if you will see here, the very first reason I have given that there are too many cars on road. So solution for that is car sharing or maybe park and ride scheme. Understand? So the problem that I have mentioned, I'm giving the solution for that only. I'm not writing anything which is not related, okay? Let's suppose if I'm saying that people do not use buses and trains because they are finding these public transportation are crowded, dirty and old. So here we can say improve public transportation, right? They should be more frequent and better quality, right? And improve infrastructure. So can you see that? Whatever the problem I'm talking about, I'm giving the solution of that only. Now, if I talk about the rush hours, so this can be done with, the flexible work hours. Okay. So keep in mind, whatever the problem, whatever the causes you are generating, you are giving the solution for the same. And better you can make a table. जब आप plan करते हो, so let's suppose you understood, okay, this is the problem. Right? So these are the causes और उसी causes का आप solution लिखेंगे. So better you make that kind of table when you are planning your essay and write down everything is related to each other. So of course you will have no chance to do a mistake. Now as I've told you that having too many ideas is one of the mistakes that students do. So what do you need to do is here, out of these many causes, take one cause. I have taken this, that too many cars on the road. Why? Because increasing number of people on cars and they finding it more convenient than buses and trains. So this is the very first reason I am going to take to describe in my essay. Now the solution to this is only park and ride scheme. So you can say that there are so many, but why I am taking this? Because they are related to each other, right? So out of these many ideas, these many causes and solution, I have taken these 2 points, right, which I am going to use. Now again, the part of the planning also includes you to prepare yourself for the vocabulary. As you have generated yourself, you have generated the ideas, so you can also generate it, you can also generate the vocabulary. See, out of 40 minutes, let me tell you, you have 40 minutes. Let me see, I'm not able to see that. You have 40 minutes to write down 250 words. Right? So out of these 40, you can easily take out 5 to 7 minutes for planning. Even within 30 minutes also you can write down the essay of 250 words. So make sure आप बिल्कुल चिंता करने की आपको बात ही नहीं है कोई. It's just that out of 40 minutes आप आराम से 5-7 minutes लीजिए, एक अच्छा सा स्ट्रक्चर प्रिपेयर कीजिए. ओके ये मेरा टॉपिक है, ये पॉइंट्स मैं डिस्क्राइब करने वाला हूँ, एंड इफ यू हैव रिलेटेड गुड वर्ड्स दैट गोना बी अ चेरी ऑन अ केक. आप वो वर्ड्स भी लिखिए सो दैट यू विल हैव अ टारगेट इन योर माइंड कि ये वर्ड्स मुझे यूज करने हैं, राइट. सो ऑलवेज टेक दैट 5 to 7 minutes टू प्लान, एंड देन 30 to 35 minutes are more than enough to write down 250 words. So here related vocabulary, for example, I know कि इस ऐसे में मैं बहुत बार ट्रैफिक जैम या ट्रैफिक कंजेशन की बात करने वाली हूँ. So you can write down stuck in traffic or jam, road clogs, heavy traffic. You can talk about the private transportation, means or mode of transportation, high speed, low speed, flyovers, roadways. So use these kind of vocabulary. It will help you to generate some ideas, and also it will help you to improve your sentence structure. Okay, now the essay structure is what? Your introduction. Now introduction again, you will have to paraphrase. So let's see how we have paraphrased that. So the paraphrase statement is one of the most serious issue. First of all, it was one of the major issue, right? So I have written the serious issue faced by majority of the urban area is traffic jam. Can you see how I have changed the words, right? So this is what you need to do. You just need to change some words, right? You need to use some synonyms. Now the outline statement, where I have told you to add a cause and a solution also. So here the main reason for this is that there are too many private cars on the road these days, and the viable solution is to introduce more park and ride scheme. So this is how you are going to generate your introduction, where you are going to paraphrase the statement, and after paraphrasing you are going to write down the solution and the cause and the solution. Okay. Now after that, when I talk about the complete introduction, so it will look like this. One of the most serious issue facing the majority of the large urban area is traffic jam. The main reason of this is that there are too many private cars on the road and these days, and a viable solution is to introduce more park and ride scheme. So see, when you are going to write down your introduction this way, so one thing will happen. The first, the examiner will able to understand that you completely understood the topic, right? You are absolutely clear with the topic, and that is the reason you have written a very clear introduction. Now your introduction will also work as a guide for the examiner also, and for you also. For example, if somebody is going to read this particular introduction, so he or she will have almost 60 to 70% of the idea कि okay student ने किस topic पे लिखा है और क्या प्रॉब्लम और क्या सोल्यूशन उसने डिस्क्राइब किया है बॉडी पैराग्राफ में, राइट. सो इट विल हेल्प यू टू स्टे फोकस्ड, बिकॉज ऑफ कोर्स व्हेन यू नो दैट ओके व्हाट यू आर गोइंग टू टॉक अबाउट, तो आप अननेसेसरली अपने बॉडी पैराग्राफ में कुछ भी इररेलेवेंट ऐड नहीं करेंगे. ओके, सो कीप इन माइंड. नाउ द बॉडी पैराग्राफ 1, सो यू नो दैट द बॉडी पैराग्राफ 1 में हम ई क्यूब को फॉलो करते हैं. This is what I have told you in the previous classes also. The body paragraph E cube is what? The first evident, then you are going to explain that and you are going to give example. So let's follow this. So the very first reason, as you know that we have taken that there are too many cars on the road, right? Out of these many causes, right, which we have discussed or which we have generated, I have taken only too many cars on the road. So I'm going to introduce, I'm going to write down the evident, right? So here is what? The number of people who owns car increasing year on year with most families now possessing more than one car. So not only one, they are having 2 cars, they are having 3 cars, right? This is the first reason I would say that. Now I'm explaining that how most people like the convenience of traveling at the time they want to, rather than being restricted to public transportation timetable. So they prefer to drive around rather than taking the bus or train. This is despite the fact that they frequently have to sit in a long traffic queues as they are near to the city center. So what we have done here, I have introduced the topic which I have explained कि लोगों को अच्छा लगता है कि भाई अपने कार से जाएं, क्योंकि सबसे पहले ये उन्हें बचाता है उस टाइम टेबल से कि ओके मुझे बस 9 बजे मिलेगा तो आई हैव टू बी देयर बिफोर 9:45 9, right? This is what. And the other thing is that they're finding it very easy, right? They are relaxed when they are traveling with their own transportation, okay? Even they are aware that they have to sit for a long time when it is a congestion. So still they are doing that. Now, for example, whenever I have to attend a meeting in the city, I always drive because it means that I can leave home when I want rather than getting stressed about getting to the station in time and to catch the train. So this is how my body paragraph will look like, where first I will give the reason, which I will explain, and I will give the example. So again, your 3 E's that you need to keep in mind. Same as the body paragraph 2. So in the body paragraph 1 may I have talked about what? The causes. Right? The one cause I have taken. Now what we are going to do in the body paragraph 2? Come on, come on, come on. It's your solution time, right? So the reason that you have explained, the problem that you have explained in the body paragraph 2, you are going to give solution for that. Now, what is the solution, right? As I've said that what is the problem? That there are too many cars on the road. So the solution is what? Park and ride scheme. So what we are going to do? A solution that is providing successful in many areas is park and ride scheme. This is my evidence which I am going to explain. This is where you park your car for free in a large car park on the outskirts of the city and take a bus for the final part of your journey, right? The fee you have to pay for the bus trip is usually very small, and this public transportation system is generally very regular, running every 10 minutes or so. Right, I have explained that. Now giving an example, a survey carried out in a city of in city where the rush hour congestion decreased by 10% when the council set up a park and ride scheme to the north of the city. Well, there was an additional drop of another 10% in traffic volume when a second scheme began operating to the south, right? So here they have given the example. Now let me tell you one secret here. See, most of you may feel a bit confused कि मैम एग्जाम्पल क्या, लेकिन हमारे पास एग्जाम्पल नहीं है. मे बी यू विल गेट अ टॉपिक जहाँ आप जनरेट कर सकते हो आइडियाज, लेकिन एग्जाम्पल कुछ याद ही नहीं आ रहा है. So whatever the examples you are going to write down, see, the examiner is not going to analyze कि okay, whatever the thing that he has written वो exist करता है या नहीं. Let's suppose I have written here कि 10% का drop हुआ traffic congestion में in the south और north में भी हुआ. So examiner is not going to verify that. So make sure whatever the examples you are writing just to prove. Okay, so nobody is going to check whether it is happening or not. So you are free to write your examples. Now last but not the least is your conclusion. When I talk about the conclusion, so a good conclusion is all about how neatly you end your essay, right? How smoothly, clearly you are finishing your essay, where you need to link all the ideas together which you have discussed in your entire body paragraph 1 and 2. Now sum up the argument or your opinion. Let's take an example now and answer the question. For example, the start of the final paragraph with in conclusion or to conclude. See, there are so many other words, for example, at the end, after the long run, or maybe, in crux. I would suggest you to use these two, the openers for your conclusion, because these are very academic words and it will, give a good impression. So better you use these academic words. Now here, see, introduction and conclusion. Now you must be confused that why I'm talking about introduction here and the conclusion. So let me tell you one thing, whatever you have written in your introduction, more or less आपका conclusion भी वैसा ही होता है, because conclusion में भी आप अपने topic को repeat करते हैं, अपने opinion को repeat करते हैं. So take an example here. हमने introduction में बोला था one of the most serious issue facing by majority of large urban area is traffic congestion. The main reason for this is that there are too many cars on the road, and the viable solution is to park and ride scheme. Same thing I'm repeating here. To conclude, the major urban problem of traffic congestion caused by excessive number of private cars on the road, and it can be partially elevated by the introduce of park and ride scheme. I would certainly use one of it if it was introduced in my area. So whatever I have spoken here, same thing I am writing here. So here also your introduction and conclusion is somewhere more or less same. In your conclusion, you are not supposed to add anything new. So make sure that you are following the same. So this was your problem and solution essay only, right? Now they may ask you to talk about the problem and solution, cause and solution, the cause and effect, or only the solution. But now we are also going to talk about the essay where I have told you that you will be given a statement, and based on that statement you will have two questions. Okay, so here what is the question? How can we conserve these fossil fuel and what are the alternatives? So let me tell you, here also the introduction will ask you to introduce the topic and give the answer of these both, right? So you will paraphrase the question, you will add the answer number 1, you will add the answer number 2, and of course the explanation of these answers you will be doing in the body paragraph. So let's take an example here. They are saying the world is currently reliant on oil, coal and natural gases for the majority of its energy requirement, but there will come a time when these run out. So can you see here, till here is just a paraphrasing, right? I have simply paraphrased this particular question here. Now the question number 1, how can we conserve these resources? So the answer for this is, this essay will discuss how can how we can help to prevent our non-renewable resources from becoming depleted by using our car less. So this is what conservation, how we can save that by using our car less. Now what are the alternatives? The alternatives are some natural forces, right? So we are going to answer this. So here also the introduction is all about paraphrasing and giving the answer of both the question in short. Now as I've said that, okay, we can conserve the fossil fuels by using our car less. I will be explaining this in my first body paragraph. Can you see that? Here, conserving energy is a responsibility of every individual, and important way in which we can all do our bit is to use more energy efficient means of transport. Now this is the evidence I have given कि कैसे बचा सकते हैं, ठीक है, अब उसको explain करते हैं. Now the easiest way to do this is to leave the car at home and walk or cycle to the destination if isn't too far. अगर वो बहुत दूर नहीं है तो better you go by walk. और टेक अ पब्लिक ट्रांसपोर्टेशन फॉर अ लॉन्गर जर्नी. ठीक है, अब एक एग्जांपल दे देते हैं. फॉर एग्जांपल, अनदर वे, वी आर एक्सप्लेनिंग दैट ओनली, अनदर वे टू रिड्यूस आवर फॉसिल कंजप्शन इज टू कार शेयर. Right, so they have given so many ideas that we can conserve by walking, by not using our cars unnecessarily, by using public transportation, and also we can use the car share also. Now here, giving example, whenever my friend and I get together for a coffee, we agree to meet up at a cafe that we can each get to without having to drive cars there, and we usually go on foot or ride our bikes. So this is how I have given the example. Whereas the second body paragraph will talk about only the alternatives. So here, the most sustainable alternatives to fossil fuels are the generation of power from natural forces such as sun, wind and ocean, right? These are the three things that they have talked about. Like solar and the wind power are already widely used across the world, but it is a wave power and tidal energy that have the greatest untapped potential to provide for our energy need in the future. Up again, we are giving example. I don't know whether it is true or not, but yes, just to support my opinion or just to support my point that I have given, I am giving one example here. A report recently in the UK estimated that the tidal energy could meet as much as 20% of the UK current electricity demand. Once this technology being developed is developed operational, the wave energy converts are expected to provide or to prove equally successful in the long term. Now to conclude, again we are going to repeat the topic by telling the answer of both the question. In conclusion, our earth reserve of fossil fuel will not last forever. We need to be continuously developing new technology to enable us to provide energy from renewable sources such as sun, wind, ocean. In the meanwhile, we can help to slow down the rate of depletion by leaving the cars at home, right? And using more energy efficient means of transportation whenever it is possible. So this is how you'll be, you're going to answer the question number 2, where you will be given a statement, and based on that statement, you will have 2 questions. Now, talking about the essays, guys, see, if you have gone through my previous lectures also, so I have covered the topic like one-sided opinion essay, where you are supposed to talk about either you agree or disagree. I have also covered the topic where you're going to write down in balance where I agree also and disagree also, right? To what extent do you agree, disagree? We have talked about the question type advantages and disadvantages, right? We have talked about the 2 different type of question where directly you will be asked 2 direct question. And in the coming video, Alisha ma'am will also take you through the question type called 3 side, right? This is also one of the question where you will be asked to, talk about the 3 different sides, discuss both the views and give your opinion, right? So anything that you want us to, come up with some details, or anything that you want us to come with a specific topic, feel free to write down in the comment box. We are always here to help you out, and we are actually happy to help you out. Thank you so much. See you in the next video. Bye bye.